Hey guys, it's Mary. So today I decided to do my April wrap up and my May TBR. I had a pretty good April considering all that was going on in that month. I went to Comic-Con. I did a lot of working and I did pretty well. So I was pretty proud of myself for getting 6 books off of my list. So the first book I want to talk about is Shatter Me. I have a whole book review of it, and I'll link that down below. But if you don't know what Shatter Me is about, it's by Tahara Mafi. It's about this girl who has this, she has this power that can kill you, and it's very exciting, and it's like a dystopia sort of world. And I heard there's a 4th book coming out next year. I'm gonna see where books 2 and 3 take me. I don't really feel like I want it to end up like the Selection, where you just go on just to have more books in a series. And that's how I feel, and if I feel like going ahead, I will, but for right now, we're just gonna stick with it as if it's a trilogy. But that was a very great book, and I would definitely recommend that if you haven't read it yet. So yeah, go read it. The second book I want to talk about, oh my god, I hated this book so much. It basically forced me into a mini reading slump because I hated this book so much. I had to force myself to read it on the train home from Comic-Con from St. Louis because I had nothing else to do. I was delayed for like 6 hours, and then I was stuck on the train for like 45 minutes in this one spot. And so basically, this book is Tarzan of the Apes by Edward Rice Burroughs. And I read this book because I loved the Disney movie Tarzan, and I wanted to see how different it was. And it is so different. Like, the general premise is there, like, the family, the parents are killed by Sabor. The, like, mom ape loses her baby, and she adopts the human boy Tarzan, which means like man of the apes or something. And it's generally the same outline, but it is just an awful story. I don't want to say awful, but I want to say it wasn't entertaining. There was a lot of weird things that were going on. Like, I liked how, like, Tarzan was learning more about himself and, like, the people. I don't like the insta-love that went on, the creepiness, the stalking, all those different things. I did not like that. And apparently there are 24 more books in the series that I will not be reading. If I could give that a 0 out of 5 stars, I'd give it a -1,000. I just found it so boring. And then the next book, I finally finished it, guys. I've been reading this since like mid-February, beginning of February, something like that. And it is Drums of Autumn by Diana Gabaldon. And I'm so excited I finally finished this book, because if anyone, like, if you've seen any of my other videos, this series and the Game of Thrones series, seriously, each book takes me like a month to finish. They're just so long, so much information packed in. I mean, this book is so great. I really enjoyed it so much more than Voyager, not as great as Outlander. I don't know where Dragonfly and Amber falls in that, like, spectrum, but definitely a very good 4th book. So if you're a little bit hesitant on moving on past book 2 or 3, I would definitely read book 4. I definitely really love this book. It did get tedious at times. I did sometimes not want to continue it because it was getting boring, but I just love Jamie, Claire, and Brianna, and I just love the Fraser family. I love the Fraser family. I love the Fraser family. And I love Outlander. So I decided to continue on with this series. The next book I want to talk about is a very sad book for me because this is the last book in a series that I absolutely love, and that is The End of Oz, which is the final book in the Dorothy Must Die series by Danielle Page. And I love this series, and I didn't want it to end. And I think I started tearing up, and I started yelling at the book because I did not want it to end. I did not. I love this series, if you can't already tell. And I really liked the way it ended. I thought that was a nice kind of, I don't want to say twist. I don't want to like spoil it too much, but I thought that was a nice way to end the book, or to end the series. I would recommend getting the Barnes & Noble edition. I like to get the Barnes & Noble editions, like if you can, because this has a like nice little epilogue in it, and that epilogue is, I don't want to say not important to the ending, but it kind of is. It's, the ending is fine without the epilogue. I just like the epilogue because like it has more story. But I thought this was a great way to end the series, and I definitely thank Danielle Page for writing this series, being in love with Oz, and I definitely like the little like Easter eggs she put in throughout the series. The next book I read is actually a library book, so I don't have it here, but I have the sequel, which I DNF'd. So I have the sequel here, but the first book is Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer's Between the Lines. This is the second book. This is obviously what happens after the first book. I DNF'd this after I think 50 pages. I just hated the characters. I don't know how they made me hate the characters, but they made me hate the characters. And if you don't know what Between the Lines is, it's a book by Jodi Picoult and her daughter, taken basically right out of a Tumblr post. Have you guys ever seen that Tumblr post where like the main character falls in love with the reader? It's like that story. Like when you close a book, the like the characters are more in a play. Like when you close the book, they all go off and do their separate things. When you open the book, it's like stages everybody or places everybody like on stage in a play. And then like this guy from the storybook is like not happy, and he just is kind of like falling in love with the reader, who is this 16 or 17-year-old girl who just loves this fairy tale. Her world has kind of fallen apart, and her talking to this character who can talk back is kind of surreal for her and helps her deal in a very good way. And they try to find a way to take him out of the story and for her to be with him. I like that book. It wasn't the best book, which is why I really kind of DNF'd the second book. It was that book you kind of always saw at the bookstore, but didn't really want to pick up. And now I understand why, like, I never bought it, and I'm glad I got it from the library because I didn't really enjoy it. So it was a fine book, but it wasn't, like, the best read. And then, oh my god, guys. Okay, so I'm really, I don't want to say I'm sorry, but, because I'm not really sorry, but I'm sorry because you guys are going to have to deal with talking about this a little bit longer. Jesse's Girl, I read in 4 hours by Miranda Keneally, which is the 6th book in the 100 Oaks series. Yes, I'm talking about this again. Yes, I will be talking about it next month, too. The 100 Oaks series. I will be. So Jesse's Girl basically follows the girl who wants to be a singer, who wants to, like, live this life of fame. She is Sam Henry's sister, and if you don't know who Sam Henry is, he is the football player from Catching Jordan, who also appears in Jesse's Girl, and so does Jordan, and you get to see the whole family, and she shadows Jesse for a day for her school's shadow day. And Jesse is this huge rock star. She liked him years ago. She loved his music. And as the shadow day goes on, she gets to know him. She gets to see he's not really this big jerk as, like, he's made out to be. And it's a really cutesy romance. Like I said, 4 hours. Wasn't that bad. It's music, so that's probably why I enjoyed it so much. Like, they were talking a lot about music, like playing the guitar and singing and how to sing, and this competition like American Idol. And I just really like the title too, because if you guys haven't heard the song Jesse's Girl, it's amazing. So, like, I think that's where the title actually came from, so great job. But I really like this book, and again, if you haven't checked out the series, go and check out the series. So yeah. May, I'm gonna have a much tougher schedule, so I'm only planning to read 2 books in May. So those books will be Defending Taylor, which is the 7th book in the 100 Oaks series, and this one is about soccer. And as you can see, I've already started it, and it is good, but I'm in a mini reading slump right now because all I want to do is watch Anastasia the musical, like, videos and songs, and fangirl over that, because Anastasia is my favorite movie ever, and they made a musical, and I just want to listen to that all day long and go to see that show. So I'm gonna finish Defending Taylor once that musical phase is over, and then I want to read The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I know this book was big, like, last year or 2 years ago. It was recommended by somebody at the library, and it's always seemed interesting to me, so I'm very interested to see where this story goes, and why it's gotten such great reviews. So I'm really kind of excited to read this. Not as excited as Defending Taylor, obviously, because of obvious reasons, but this seems like a nice kind of book to pick up. It's nice and kind of large too, so, which is nice. But I won't get a lot of reading time in May, which is unfortunate because I'm now picking up another job. So I have 2 jobs, so I'm working 5 to 7 days a week. Not a lot of time for reading. Yeah. Tell me what books you guys are reading for next month. What books did you guys read? Did you guys read any of these books that I read this month over any length of time in the past, I don't know, 10 years? Has it been since Drums of Autumn? I don't know. But I will see you guys later with another video. Bye!